print, email, Facebook, Twitter. More Margaret River murder-suicide. 7 people found dead at home near Y holiday town. Media player, space to play, M to mute, left and right to seek, 00:0001:1700:0001:17. 4 children and 3 adults have been shot dead in a home near the West Australian town of Margaret River, in what is the nation's worst mass shooting since the 1996 Port Arthur massacre. Police are treating the incident as a murder-suicide and have confirmed they are not looking for any suspects. A friend of the family has confirmed to the ABC that Katrina Miles and her 4 children were among the 7 victims. The friend confirmed that Katrina's parents, whose names are listed on the property title as Peter and Cinda Miles, were also killed in the incident. While Police Commissioner Chris Dawson said all 7 victims appeared to be residents of the property, which consists of an established house and a shed that had been converted to living quarters. 2 adults were found outside and the other 5 bodies were discovered inside the converted shed. Police at the scene confirmed to the ABC that the family's next of kin had been notified, but they were yet to formally confirm the identities of the victims. The mass shooting has the most fatalities since the Port Arthur massacre, in which 35 people died and another 23 were seriously injured. Phone tip-off to Police Commissioner Dawson said officers were called to the rural property in Osmington, about 20 kilometres northeast of Margaret River, about 5:15 am on Friday. They found firearms at the crime scene. It appears that gunshot wounds are there, but I don't want to go further than that as 2 firearms have been located, Commissioner Dawson said. Media player, space to play, M to mute, left and right to seek, 00:0002:060:0002:006. Detectives from the Homicide Squad and Forensic Crime Scene Unit have travelled to the scene as part of the investigation. Commissioner Dawson announced the discovery at a media conference in Perth, describing the deaths as a horrific incident. He said a male person connected to the property had phoned police just after 5 am, and officers arrived at the scene shortly afterwards. The loss of any life is tragic, but 4 children and 3 adults, this is a significant tragedy, he said. This will be a very large-scale and detailed investigation. Commissioner Dawson said the phone call to police had been recorded but he would not reveal any more details about it. Commissioner Dawson said police were not looking for a suspect. We don't have any information to raise further public concern about that element, he said. Worst mass shooting in 20 years. Prior to this incident, the worst mass shooting, defined as a shooting involving 5 or more victims, since Port Arthur involved a man killing himself and 4 members of his family on a rural New South Wales property in Lockhart in 2014. Mass shooting expert Glenn Greensmith said these incidents have become incredibly rare in Australia. We have been lucky that all forms of gun-related deaths have reduced dramatically since we took that step of having less guns, following the gun bans in the wake of Port Arthur, said Mr. Greensmith, who is studying a PhD in mass shootings at Edith Cowan University. But there are as many guns now in Australia as there were at the time of the Port Arthur massacre. Victims were a much-loved family. The ages of the children and adults have not been revealed. State member for Bass Libby Metham, whose seat incorporates Margaret River, said the deaths had already sent significant shockwaves through the town, and the community was hurting. This is a much-loved family, a big part of the Margaret River community, she said. Our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone that will be affected by this tragedy, including those first responders. Former local councillor Felicity Haynes, who lives on a neighbouring property, said the family involved were caring neighbours. They were just such lovely people, she said. They were a very socially aware family, doing their best to create a safe community, and that is why it is so shocking to think that could be destroyed so quickly. Dr. Haynes said the family had moved to the property about 3 years earlier to start a farm, having earlier lived in Margaret River. Another nearby resident, Freya Cheffers, said she was in shock. Everybody's just devastated. I just prayed that I didn't know the family. As it turns out I kind of do. Premier Mark McGowan described the incident as a shocking tragedy. Clearly this is a distressing day for Western Australia, he said. It's a dark day for every family member or friend of the people involved. Tragedy to have lasting impact. Police said they were expecting to remain at the property for an extended period of time. We are trying to locate other members of the family and friends, Commissioner Dawson said. This devastating tragedy will no doubt have a lasting impact on the families concerned, the whole community and in particular, the local communities in our southwest. Margaret River is a small town about 270 kilometers south of Perth, and the surrounding region, with a population of about 9,000, is well known for its beaches, wineries and craft breweries. It is world famous as a surfing destination, hosting an annual event of the World Surf League, the Margaret River Pro, and is a popular holiday spot among both West Australians and international tourists. Augusta Margaret River Shire President Pamela Townsend said the tragedy would send shockwaves throughout the small community. It really hits hard, because everybody has links with that family in one way or another, so it will have a ripple effect right through our community, she said. The good thing about a small community is that we all mobilize to support people who are in terrible distress, and there will be a huge community response to support people affected directly and indirectly by this. My heart goes out to them, and we will certainly provide as much support as we possibly can. Anyone with information regarding the deaths, or who saw or heard anything suspicious in the Osmington area this morning, has been urged to call Crime Stoppers. Print, email, Facebook, Twitter, more.